Hey guys, what's up? How's it going here? Ryan back with you again with another episode of No Content Podcast. That's Pixel, he's 34. I'm Ryan, I'm 28. I'm super tired today. How you guys doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Pixel, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. Week's going. How about yours?
It's pretty good. Honestly, I've been like really tired like this whole week. I don't know why. I've been getting more sleep than usual, which is
You're just
nice.
getting old.
I
Welcome to my
maybe
world.
I'm not sick. And yeah, I don't know, man. I've just been like conking out at like 1 a.m., which is early for me.
I was gonna say like 1 a.m. is pretty late for like 90% of people.
Yeah, I know, but for me, unfortunately, it's not or whatever. How's your week been?
It's been all right. Nothing much has been going on. I think the only thing of note has been Game of Thrones since the last time we did a no
Okay,
content.
okay. We'll get into that because apparently we're gonna have the second lowest viewed episode ever.
Yeah.
Apparently our last episode was our lowest viewed episode because I did put a little
Nice.
warning at the beginning that we were talking game or Avengers spoilers. If you guys haven't seen that already, we do go into about a 45-minute rant about Avengers or something, from what I recall. It was pretty good. We also had some articles we talked about before that. But yeah, anyways, before we really jump into it, as always, guys, we need to plug all the socials at the beginning and the end of the podcast because, we just want a lot more clout or something. But as always, remember to check us out on Spotify and iTunes if you guys haven't already. I know most of you guys have. We just hit the 275 subscriber mark on all our platforms. A lot of you guys listen to us on Google Home. Like we have like 50
Really?
people who listen to us on Google Home from our analytics.
That is really weirdly specific.
Yeah, it's really weirdly because it says Google, and then I'm like, oh, what on Google? And then you break it down, it's like Google Home, like the Google, like the little thing, right? It's like Alexa or
Yeah.
something like that.
It's like, okay, so like we're just like in the room with these people. We're just like
Yeah, maybe
broadcasting
when
their
people are
lovely
like, I don't know,
voices.
making dinner or something, or
Yeah, they just want to
eating
listen to
dinner.
us while they're making a sandwich.
Maybe so. Shout out to you guys. 275 super random number, but it's pretty good. I think at our peak with Deep Thoughts, we had about like, okay, so those are the subscribers. You guys are the real homies. Listeners were roughly around the same as we were with Deep Thoughts. With subscribers, we're actually more, which is pretty cool, than we ever were with Deep Thoughts. I think we only had about 125 people subscribe to us.
Cool.
So remember, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast if you want to. It's the best way to get notified each and every time an episode gets pushed to Spotify, iTunes, Google, your Google Home, apparently, and all that other type of stuff as well. So go check that out. I don't know if there's any other announcements, really. Not really, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's about it. So let's just jump right into it. Before we get into Game of Thrones spoilers, though, I did want to spoil something that I saw this week, the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer.
Oh no.
And I feel like we talked about this before, right? We talked about this, I
Yeah.
feel like, before, because we had a discussion about how the Sonic just looked like crap.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, so like I hate bashing on like the work because I know there's a lot of talented artists out there, but whoever directed this thing is like ugh.
Yeah, I think, what I realized is the weird thing about Sonic, looking at the Sonic figure, is first of all, legs are really skinny for how fast he can run, which looks totally weird. The other
Yeah, he
thing
must be
is,
jacked.
yeah, the individual eyes. Because if you think of the Sonic
Yes.
character, he literally only has like technically one pupil. You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
In the design of the character, right? So it's kind of weird to see like two separate eyes on the trailer, but overall, I don't know who asked for this. I don't know where they did their market research on this. I think one of the funniest things was somebody like had a Winston Churchill quote, and the Winston Churchill quote was like, "People who have never learned, or people who never look to the past, will be doomed to repeat themselves." Winston Churchill, and then it was a picture of the Super Mario Brothers movie, and then the Sonic movie. And I thought that was really funny. I don't know.
That's very.
I guess we just break down the trailer in general. Overall, I thought it was a very bizarre trailer.
Yes.
I think the weirdest part about the whole trailer was that the intro to Gangster's Paradise by Coolio, or as people more know it for, Weird Al Amish Paradise, was going in the background. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about, the like da 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 da, like the little like intro music that starts before he starts rapping. That just happened the whole time, like that was the background music for some reason, like, on loop in the background of like the whole trailer. And the trailer itself was just kind of bizarre. Um,
Yeah, it was really strange. I don't know what to make of this.
to be fair, like someone made a good point. It's like at least it was a legitimate trailer because it didn't really give away the whole story. Like it did,
Right,
but it
right.
didn't. Right? So it did at least like in that sense it's like, oh, this is actually could be a good trailer because like it's like doesn't it kind of makes you go, what the heck is this story about?
Right. Yeah, I gave it the benefit of the doubt. I was interested enough to see like, okay, you know what? Show me what you've got.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like there's been so much hype around this thing that I just want to see what this thing is going to be, whether it's going to be like a train wreck or if it's actually going to be surprisingly good.
Right.
There's always the chance of that. I mean, look at Detective Pikachu. Like I didn't think that was going to
Right,
be any
yeah.
good, but if you just look at the designs and the way the movie is crafted, it looks very well done. It's very very true to the
Right.
designs of the original Pokemon, and it's just you know what, I'm buying it. I don't care if Ryan Reynolds is actually voicing a talking Pikachu. Like that's just weird to me, but I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, I think the thing that helps too is, to be fair, that one is based off of a video game that had kind of a cult following from the Pokemon company called Detective Pikachu. And
Oh
so
yeah, right.
it is based off of the video game, like pretty like on par, and like they explain like why this guy can understand how, like his Pikachu talking, because like in the video game, like no one else can hear the Pikachu talking, like they can connect for some reason like telepathically,
Mm.
and like I don't
Hmm.
want to spoil it if like people out there haven't seen it or whatever or played the video game before, but it actually makes sense why these two are like connected. And so
Hmm.
for me, it was like I was like playing the game and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, I actually understand. Like, I get the trailer. Like, the trailer didn't like shock me or like surprise me at all for Detective Pikachu. I
Hmm.
will say if you haven't played Detective Pikachu, I would highly recommend playing it because it is actually made by the same company who did Ace Attorney, the Phoenix Wright games.
Oh, I'm
So,
interested
so the
already.
so the original people played it. Now I will say it's not in depth like that, where you're just in a courtroom and stuff like that. But it has that kind
Yeah.
of like charm in it. It's only on the 3DS, unfortunately, but well, maybe it will come
Oh,
out and they'll
nice.
have a bigger release or something on the
You
Switch.
know,
Anyway,
you know.
totally
Yeah.
agree with you on that. I'm kind of currently watching the trailer on my other monitor, muted and stuff like that, just to see it. It's just very strange. Like, there's a
Yeah.
cop involved who apparently finds this Sonic character. He's apparently here to save the world or something like
Hmm.
that. Um, the one of the number one comments on the trailer is like, "How the heck did he get shot with a tranquilizer gun when he's Sonic?" And he's like super. I didn't even think about that, and that's a good point.
That is true.
Like, how does he get hit by anything? Does he just allow
I
it to
know, right?
happen? um,
And then there's that shot later on where he's getting shot at by a bunch of rockets, and you're telling me that this tranquilizer dart is faster than a bunch of rockets?
yeah. And then I don't understand. Like, there's a scene too where Sonic actually shoots out of his hands a golden ring, and they
Hmm.
teleport through it like a Doctor Strange teleporter.
Right. Yeah.
What the heck
And
does that mean?
that didn't make any
That
sense
didn't
at
make
all.
any sense at all.
Like those
Um,
rings aren't supposed to do that.
in the trailer, he says, "I was sent here to save the world." As well, in the Sonic trailer,
Yeah.
he's like, "Yeah, I was sent here to save the world." And then
Okay.
also, so I will say a couple things. Jim Carrey's gonna save this movie or salvage this
Yes.
movie. I don't think saving. I don't think you can save it, but
No.
you know. Also, why was more CG put to Jim Carrey's cool robot tech than to the Sonic? Don't know that either. Um, yeah. I don't know. Obviously the community, the internet doesn't like it. It's at 750,000 views right now. The
Hmm.
trailer came out on Monday, and we're at 11,000 likes and 17,000 dislikes. So it's not actually as bad as I thought it would be.
You'd
From
have
like
to
a like to
watch
dislike.
you have to watch the actual like official one because the official one has 236,000 likes and 380,000 dislikes.
Oh, okay. So I'm watching like the unofficial one. Where's the
Yeah.
official one? Is it the
Um,
Oh, it's the Paramount Pictures.
yeah, it's the Paramount one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this one has way worse likes or whatever. Yeah, so I was watching like another one, maybe like a leaked one or something that had quite a few views on it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can dodge 1,000 missiles and bullets, but not a trank dart. um, so
Like, I mean, I can break down like why this design is just not effective from
or
like just
go
like an
for it.
artist
Take it
like
away.
point
Do
of view.
do
Like,
yeah. If you want the stage on this one, go for it. I don't
all
mind at
right,
all.
because like everybody's been trying to pinpoint what exactly it is that makes him uncomfortable looking.
Mm-hmm.
Like first off, his proportions. That's the first thing you notice when you look at a person is their size and their silhouette, like their outline. And he looks like a 3-year-old kid that's like 4 feet tall.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I'm looking at
and you
pictures right
got
now. Yeah.
and you think of that, it's because of the size of the head compared to the rest of the body. So he's got this sort of like adultish looking body, but with a child's head,
Right.
and that is disturbing.
Right.
That's really disturbing. You ever see those kids that are like really jacked weightlifters? It's like,
Yeah.
whoa, what happened here? And if you look at his face, the original design had these eyebrows, right? We had like the one eye kind of shape, and you had like this really sharp kind of crease above that.
Right.
Now that created an eyebrow, and what that does is it helps you show emotions.
Right.
And if you don't have that, it's like you've taken away your eyebrows, and
Right.
that's really creepy. And that's what this Sonic has. Like, he has no eyebrows; it's just blank up here. So it's like he shaved it off essentially.
Right.
And
yeah, I can see
he's
that.
got nothing there. It's just the proportions of like the features on his face. It just doesn't look appealing. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
It's kind of straddles the line of realistic and cartoony because
Yeah, I was gonna say the CG makes it look almost like it's an animatronic puppet, like an animatronic, which looks even creepier.
Yeah.
But it's pure
It looks-
CG, like CGI.
Yeah, and it's like they didn't go like all the way and make these big eyes because, like, you know, that would make it cartoony. That would make it actually like appealing and friendly looking because it's
Right.
It's, I don't know. People just like that sort of thing. There's something about big eyes that make you look more friendly and appealing. His mouth is small. It looks like a human's mouth. It looks like he like someone just shoved human teeth inside his mouth.
Right.
And I don't know. It just like altogether, it just looks like a dude in a fursuit.
Yeah, it looks really weird. Also, one of the highest comments is post-credit scene, Mario. I'm here to talk to you about the Smash Bros. Initiative. And it's the original Mario from the Mario 1990s movie.
Man. It's so good.
Oh gosh, this trailer. Yeah, I think also just like I don't know. Maybe they're trying to capture like 90s nostalgia, which I don't really mind the cheesy jokes that much. It's very obvious about like where this movie's coming from. It's just like I have no freaking idea. Like, to be fair, it's like if you haven't played the Detective Pikachu games, there's very little information. It's like my dad's gone missing, we have to find him. And that's really all that's given to you in like the Detective Pikachu trailers. And it's like we have no idea what the story is about, but you're interested at least.
Yeah.
Like with this, it's like Sonic has to save the world. Like this doesn't even like it's not even the humor that's like the humor is fine. I don't mind it. But it's like I don't even know like what the story plot of this is gonna be. Like I don't know. It's so weird. It's weird because you can't make movies out of games like I feel like pre 96 or something, right? Because like the games were so simplistic that you're just gonna be adding a bunch of like random characters that don't make sense. Because like essentially I feel like the original Sonic was like Eggman was just trying to like, from what I understood, it was like Eggman was trying to eat the animals and then at the same time like invade their forest and like grab fuel from them or something like that from Green Valley, like industrialize
it. Wasn't really clear.
It was very like simple storyline, right? And there was no added characters like Sonic, Eggman, and then like Tails. And that was really it. Like Knuckles came later, right, in other iterations. So then it's just weird to like even just have like this human police officer character. Like, who the heck is this guy? This guy's not even part of the universe. Like at least with Pokemon, like the Pokemon movies or whatever, it's like you have all these like iconic Pokemon that you know. And you at least like, even though it's kind of weird that there's like a talking Pikachu, like you already know like Pokemon can be paired with trainers, so that already is like something you're buying into already. But with this, it's like I don't know who this like random dude is, and this like random like female he's with, like carrying him in a bag, and it's just so weird.
It is very, very strange. It's just like excuse me. You don't really need to have a big story. Oh,
Oh,
Hold on.
no, go.
Hold on.
I'll take it over or whatever. I'll take it over. So, what I want to know who wrote off on this movie. I want to know why they thought the Paramount thought this was like a really good idea to do, because I feel like no one was asking for like a Sonic movie. Also, I just feel like Sonic can't catch a break, man. Like Sonic has had awful like representation since probably 1998 when Mario 64 came out. Once they tried to make Sonic into a 3D environment or whatever, like
Mhm.
it went awful with the games and stuff like that. Ever since then, Sonic's just been a laughing stock dog. Like it's
Yeah,
bad.
it's always been like they had one hit, and that was like back in the mid '90s, and then after that was like miss, 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 sort of glancing hit, miss, miss.
Yeah, and then it was like, let's just use the Sonic character in random games, but like not really be a Sonic game. Like for example, I think the game that comes to me is like Mario and Sonic go to the Olympics or something like that. And then there
Hmm.
was like some type of like Mario Kart racing ripoff, like with Sonic in it. I mean, honestly, the best game Sonic's been in the last like 10 years is probably Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, where he's like a playable character.
Yeah,
You know?
he's basically carried by other characters.
Yeah. What were you gonna say though about just the story and stuff like that with Sonic, the Sonic movie?
Oh, yeah, you were making the point that Detective Pikachu, it had this really simple storyline, and I think that's all you need for a good story. You need a simple hook, and for movies, you don't have a lot of time. You have an hour and 30 minutes, and that's less time than you think to
Hmm.
create a good story.
Right.
So a lot of times, movies tend to have very very simple hooks
Hmm.
to get you interested. So with Sonic's storyline, it's convoluted. You see all these things in there. You see a cop, you see Eggman, you see him talking to you in the military.
Hmm.
You see all these other like little snippets of their life going on, and it's overkill. You don't need that.
Right.
You need just like a simple hook, and then the rest of it can be just very, very uh, I don't know, just like simple action sequences or things that are just enticing to you.
Right.
These moments just don't seem very interesting to me. Like getting shot with a tranquilizer dart. Like, or like, is this the best the movie actually has to show?
Yeah. Right. Um, it's also that I feel like, unfortunately, Sonic is something that's really held on to by people from our generation or before.
Hmm.
Like I asked my daughter, or I showed her like the Sonic trailer as well, and she was uninterested only because she didn't know who Sonic was. Like she's never really grown up with Sonic. Like why would she have grown up with Sonic games when they all suck in the last 10 to 12 years, right? Like they've
Right.
been really really bad. It's like we don't have a Sega Genesis or like an
Yeah.
emulator to play them on. So, but with Pokemon, it's like there's kids that are younger than her that like my friends' kids who are around 5 or 6, and they're like
Hmm.
obsessed with Pokemon. Like Pokemon has been just a
Oh yeah.
really solid and well-known franchise for
Yeah.
years, and so with Sonic, it just doesn't hold that weight as well. So I don't even know. Like
Hmm.
on top of it, kind of, I don't even know who this movie is for because it's just pissing off like the fans of Sonic
Hmm.
from the 80s, and it's clearly not geared.
Right.
It's clearly a kids movie. It's not geared towards them. But then I feel like at the same time, I don't think it has enough to like draw kids into like actually want to like drag their parents to go see this movie either.
Hmm. Yeah.
Maybe for Jim Carrey, but
Maybe.
that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, do the kids actually know who Jim Carrey
I mean,
is?
he's pretty funny in the trailer. Like he was good in the trailer, so I can imagine kids, like little kids in theater, being like, "I want to see this movie. That guy's funny."
Hmm.
Right? Like
Yeah.
I could see that happening. To be honest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, the original appeal of Sonic was that he was just this really sort of badass character that was like, a rebel. He stuck it to the man. He was
yeah.
witty and bantered, and
And then the cartoon
um,
show came out, and
yeah,
then Sonic 2006 came out, the 3D platformer that sucked. And then I don't know what else happened, man. It was bad. Sega went bankrupt. That's what happened. Or they stopped making consoles. That's what happened.
yeah. This poor character who's meant to be like this competition to Mario, and ended up being like this. You know,
Was he ever
uh,
really was he really on par competition with Mario, to be honest? I feel like Sega, no offense to them, and I love the Sega Dreamcast, I feel
mhm.
like they were always kind of second rate. Their
They
consoles were
always were.
cheaper than the Nintendo. You know what I mean? People bought
Yeah,
them because they didn't want to spend money on their kids like getting a Nintendo and stuff like that. Like that's how
yeah,
I'm a Nintendo guy. I always grew up with a
mhm,
Nintendo. I never owned
yeah,
one kid in our whole neighborhood owned a Sega, right?
yeah.
Everyone else owned Nintendo consoles.
I had both, and I actually played my Genesis more.
Yeah, there's some good games
Um,
on it, but
there were some really good games on there, and I really enjoyed it.
yeah, but I just
But
feel like
yes,
on par globally, like just Sonic has slowly fell to the wayside over the years, you know?
yeah, it just yeah, I don't know if it has that staying power, you know.
Yeah,
And like for a character that's snarky, it has to have really good writing. And like
right.
for Mario, you don't need writing. He just makes like hoo sounds.
Yeah.
Like what kind of writing does he need? He just needs to have like charm and
Yeah.
it just has to have a beautiful, pretty world to be in.
I think also like the thing is like they've done such a good job of like redesigning Mario as well, right? Like when like there's like the iconic Mario that like there I just love how the Mario games they've come out with something unique each and every time they've come out with the Mario game, but then also
Hmm.
allowing like just kind of like it's almost like adding an expansion or a DLC pack to Mario, right? Like he can still
Yeah.
eat mushrooms and get big or get like firepower and stuff like that and all that cool stuff. But I feel like every game they've just like enhanced them a little more or like taken like a really unique approach of it. And in
Hmm.
2018, my game of the year for sure was Super Mario Odyssey, or 2017 was Super Mario Odyssey for sure. It was one of my
Hmm.
favorite games, and I thought that the way they integrated like the 2D version of Mario and with the 3D version of Mario and being able to
Hmm.
like throw your hat and take over powers of like other things was like really
Yeah.
unique and cool, but then it still felt like very Mario like esque. And I feel
Yeah.
like with Sonic, Sonic's just done the same thing but in different environments for over 20 years. He can
Yeah.
run really fast and don't hit anything if you don't have gold coins, but his
Hmm.
powers haven't really like changed per se.
Yeah. The thing is, I think his powers actually limited him
Right, yeah.
in what he could be. Mario was just a plumber, and then
Mm,
he had all these different powers that gave him certain abilities. Fire flowers and the feather, the raccoon suit.
mhm.
Like he was like a blank slate, and you
Right.
could just apply things to it. But with Sonic, he was already started off with a power. Like you can't make him slow because he wouldn't be Sonic,
Right.
and anything else, it just doesn't feel right. You can't put him in a machine because he's supposed to be faster than a plane. He's supposed to be faster than all these things.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I totally
And
agree.
so it's like a limited design decision, and they had very little that they could do to actually just make new mechanics for Sonic, and
Yeah.
they kind of designed themselves into a corner.
Yeah, I think that like a couple people I know bring up too as well is Sonic. They don't like Sonic at all, don't really care for it, but it's like he's pretty much the Sonic games are pretty much glorified endless runner games, which I can
Yeah.
see. It's basically try to clear this course with the time speed as fast as possible. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I
Yeah,
can totally
totally.
see that. But I mean, I guess enough about Sonic. We've kind of like beaten the poor little hedgehog to death
Yeah,
or
I know, right?
whatever. You gonna see this?
The
I
dead
think we talked
horse.
about this already. We're not gonna see the movie, right? Neither of
And
us.
I'm not gonna see this. I just know it's going to be such a waste of my time that I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
I don't.
bother.
I don't even think I'll do dollar theater to be honest. Like I was thinking like maybe dollar theater, but I don't even think I'll do that
Nah,
to be honest.
save those 2 hours of your life. Get them back.
Yeah. Speaking of just like botched releases and stuff like that, and like I don't know stuff that like we've been worried about. Have you been looking at any of the Borderlands 3 stuff?
Not really. I was never a big fan of Borderlands 1 or 2. I
Right.
never got into them. I actually barely know what it's about, so I'll let you take this one.
Okay. So if you guys did you watch like the teaser thing they had like a few weeks ago, even or hear about that?
I heard of it. I think I saw the trailer. I think I saw the
Okay.
teaser.
So I don't Borderlands 3 for me, I played it because if you guys didn't know, I'm a pretty big fan of action RPGs. And when this game first came out, it was pretty unique, and I think it is pretty unique in a certain type of design aspects. But the original Borderlands 3 came out around the time of Diablo 3, maybe actually a little bit before Diablo 3, to be honest. It was a pretty fun game. Essentially, what it is it's just a first-person shooter that's an action RPG where you kill stuff, you collect loot. There's like thousands and thousands of guns in the game, so it's very unique or whatever. You equip a gun, it does really crazy zany stuff. And the first Borderlands was pretty crappy when it came to a storyline or lore. Your lore is basically you're just put onto this like planet and you're trying to find. It's called Pandora. You're trying to find this vault of treasure. And spoiler, you find the vault of treasure at the end and yeah, that's it. Borderlands 2
All
came
right.
out, kind of expanded on that, kind of gave it a better story and a better identity and stuff like that. The game is a simplified action RPG in the sense that, and my memory might be cloudy because the second one came out in 2012, but essentially there's no way to craft items in the game. or augment your items. It's pretty much just there's like hundreds upon hundreds of guns in the game. And so you can't craft better weapons or upgrade a weapon that you have, which was like kind of an issue for me. So you might be really liking the sniper, but you just gotta, throw away this sniper or sell this sniper so you can use a shotgun because it does more damage when you might not like using a shotgun, but hey, you have to use it. It did implement some really cool stuff in Borderlands 2. One of the things that I really liked about it, which I wish more action RPGs would do, was let's say you faced like a boss that had like a really cool gravity gun or something, right? And I hate it in like World of Warcraft or in other action RPGs. You kill the boss and then you go loot him, and it's like you get 50 gold and that's it. In Borderlands 2 and in 3, they announced when you kill the boss, you take his gun. Like whatever gun he was just using on you, like you loot it. And like so they kill in the gameplay trailer, because there was a gameplay demo today that a bunch of streamers went to. You can actually yoink the gun and yoink the shield or anything that was on him, like on the visual character model, which I thought was cool. But Borderlands 3 has had some pretty big controversies already coming out or whatever. For me, I'm not a huge fan of it, so we'll see what ends up happening. But if you guys didn't know, first off, it is going to be on the Epic Game Store exclusively for 6 months. So you cannot download it on Steam at all. Also, they haven't confirmed it, but there's log files, so this might change. But that Epic Games, people who buy the game on Epic Games and people who bought it on Steam won't be able to play together. So that is already pretty crappy in my opinion, because I was going to wait the 6 months until the Steam version came out in April of 2020, because the game Borderlands 3 actually comes out on my birthday, September 13th, 2019. 6 months later, it will come out on April 20th, 2020. But apparently, if you have the game on Epic Games, you will need to rebuy the game for Steam, even though your cloud data is saved in the cloud. I really don't like that. That's kind of like PS4 and Xbox, how they don't play friendly with each other across platform.
Yeah.
It hasn't officially been confirmed, but it is in their log files that that's what they're doing. So already I don't like that. They had a pretty awkward reveal for the game as well, where when they cut to the guy with the gameplay, it was just on some Windows PC desktop. And then the guy opened up a VLC player and started playing the trailer, but then the trailer wasn't in full screen, so he had to stop playing it, and it was awful.
I remember that.
And today, they announced there would be no... But here's the thing. So Borderlands 3 was announced today. They showed gameplay footage. They had a bunch of streamers, big streamers, small streamers playing it, demoing it today. And it looked like a really fun game. Yeah, it looked pretty cool. I like the art style. I like the uniqueness of it and stuff like that. And the best part was that the community manager... lead community manager said that there will be no microtransactions in the game at all, except cosmetics and possible boosts, but no microtransactions. So that was pretty cool.
Okay, that's a little contradictory, but
that was the first thing. So I don't understand that statement. He tried to explain it as saying that when he meant microtransactions, what he meant there will be like no pay to win stuff, as well as like no, like you can't just buy a super powerful gun, or no loot boxes. But there will be like microtransactions in the sense of like cosmetics for your guns, or like perks, which still sound pay to win to me. With the perks,
still a microtransaction,
and it's still a microtransaction. But he said that's not a definition of a microtransaction on his Twitter. So I think the guy just doesn't understand what microtransactions are, or he's like trying to spin it in a weird way. Because in his mind, he's in a microtransaction is something like V-Bucks in Fortnite, or a loot box, or something that augments the game to give you an advantage. And all they're going to be selling is cosmetic stuff.
I mean, it's in the
possibly
name.
In loot boxes.
Like, it's in the name too. It's the word transaction, microtransaction. It's a small transaction. Yeah. Like,
so
I don't get it.
I don't really get it. I really want this game to be good. I love action RPGs. All right. I'm going to say it now, guys, and you're going to laugh at me. I don't care. I'm planning to stream Diablo Immortal, that Diablo Immortal game. You know why? Because it's either going to be really fun we're going to stream it just to record this moment in time, because it's either going to be really fun or really bad. And either way, it's an action RPG. I'll enjoy it. I love games like Diablo 3 still. I love PoE. Action RPGs I love. But Borderlands 3, you're making it so hard for me to love right now. I do not want to play this game on Epic's game thing when there's no cloud saving. First of all, on the Epic Game Store, there's no reviews, there's no group invites, there's no party system, there's no in-game voice chat. Like, what is this crap that is on here? You know what I mean? Like, there's literally like nothing on the Epic Game Store. So they better like update this thing like crazy before September 13th, because otherwise I'm just gonna play on Steam. Because why not?
Yeah, and Steam's gonna have a bigger user base. You're gonna have a lot more people to play with. Like, it just doesn't make sense to buy it on Epic.
Yeah, it's crazy. Here's a comparison of everything that is on Steam compared to Epic, okay? Cloud saves, user profile, user reviews, forms, mod distribution via Steam Workshop, friends list and chat, groups, item trading, library sorting, account family sharing, streaming to other devices, broadcasting, screenshot capture / sharing. They don't have that on the Epic Game Store right now. User created guides and wish lists. None of that stuff is on the Epic Game Store besides friend lists.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, like, and then to hear that there's a possibility that I might not be able to play, like that I'm pretty much forced to buy this because I like on Epic Games kind of like is annoying. Because it should at least be able to be played well with Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Because essentially, I have 5 or 6 friends who are hardcore Borderlands people. They still play Borderlands 2 maybe about like twice a week. It's been like 8 years, right? Or 6 years, whatever it is. But at the same time, it's like they're gonna buy this, and I'm not gonna be able to play with them if I don't buy it on Epic. If this is the case, if I buy it on Steam and they buy it on Epic because they want that 6-month head start. Sorry, guys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be able to play with you guys. That's so lame.
Yeah. All these things have to be built into the game. Kind of like Fortnite has the in-game voice and all these other things, matchmaking, whatever.
Right. And I don't know if that... I think that is... I want to say that's on Epic's end, the reason why they're doing that. Because usually Epic's exclusivity contracts for their Epic Game Store is 1 year. But for Borderlands 3, they're making an exception and making it 6 months. So I wonder if they're making it 6 months, but then at the same time being like, well, but you can't play with people on Steam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
This is bad business. I think this is really bad business. It's only hurting Epic because it's going to give them bad publicity. And Gearbox is going to make out like a bandit because they're getting money for it all.
Yeah, they're going to get money either way. They're going to be chilling.
Yeah, because I think like fans are gonna hurt too because they're gonna be forced to make a decision to either buy now and get screwed on multiplayer or buy later and just have to wait another 6 months.
Yeah, so I really don't understand like what they're doing or whatever. I mean, beyond that though, the game looks so fun, and some of the things that I loved about Borderlands was that the dialogue in the game was just super funny. And the game didn't take itself seriously. Like one of the quests that was in Borderlands 2 was you meet up with kind of like this like group of bandits, and one of the bandits is like, I'm pissed off because like one of my like our second in command, he left the group and made like a rival like militia, and he stole like my most precious treasure. You need to go get it and kill him. So you go, and it's like a 20-minute quest. Like you're slaughtering all these people. It's like very comedic, like how these characters die and stuff like that. It's really fun. And then the thing you end up stealing is just a coffee mug that says "World's Best Boss." Like you killed all these people just to steal back this guy's coffee mug. That was like his most prized possession. He's like, yeah, take that. I got my mug back. And it's like kind of makes fun of or points fun at the fact of these quests and like MMORPGs where it's like, wow, you are the greatest hero of all time. Go and kill 10 boars for me now. Or go and retrieve this letter. Like it makes fun of that. And I really love the writing of Borderlands, but this news about Epic is just, I'm not looking forward to it, man.
Yeah. I honestly think it's worth waiting. It's worth waiting for the Steam version.
Do you think so?
I think so. I mean, just from the fact that you don't have to buy twice, you'll get the game you want as opposed to the game you're just kind of like half-heartedly playing. So I don't know. That might even ruin the experience if you're playing on Epic if you don't have those features.
Right.
So maybe we'll need to wait until we see like what's actually in that version. But I think it might actually ruin the experience. It'll at least it'll be very different than the one you're used to from Borderlands 2.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that you want to add to that, Pixel.
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't really have anything else.
All right. I think the last thing, or like the couple of last things that we should touch on. There's been a lot of like crazy stuff just happening in like the live streaming community. Like, there's just too much stuff. Like, we can't even like. I don't even know where to begin with it, so I'm not really going to begin with it. Yeah, I'm not even going to really begin with it like anything specific at all. But we've had like a handful of people getting banned off stream because of like lawsuits or something, or like DMCA's from like other groups of people because of stuff happening and stuff like that. Recently, like a little bit ago or whatever, we had also like people in the community just like bringing down like other people in the community for not liking their creativity, I guess is the best way to put it. And I don't know, man. Like, what's up with this week? This whole week, I don't know. I don't really have like a topic plan for this. I just kind of want to like lay it all out there before we get into the Game of Thrones spoilers, because like I don't really have anything to add to that. But it's like, dude, what's going on, man? Because I always lived by the fact of like, I get it, like art, music, whatever you do. Like, I tweeted this out actually earlier. I'm not an artistic guy, right? So like, I can't draw for crap or do any of that type of stuff for crap very well, right? But I get by. But it's like, for some reason, we've just had so many people lately just kind of like crapping on other people's stuff beyond what is like necessary. Now, what I mean by that is, I think it's okay if you don't like someone's music or if you don't like someone's art, because it's just not your thing. But I think there's a right way to go about like critiquing it and crapping all over it. And I feel like we should have a community where we're just kind of like building people up, or at least like encouraging them, right? So like not positive reinforcement, but like positive critiquing, right? Hey, I don't really like this. I don't really like how this looks. Maybe you should try like this or that to like improve on this. I don't know, man. This whole thing's been crazy. I just want like your take on it briefly.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking to the art thing, this is very different than us critiquing Sonic from the very beginning.
True.
That when I was talking about Sonic, I'm saying like this is what I find very strange about it, and this is what needs to change. I'm giving constructive criticism. Like, this is what I feel is wrong with it, and this is how I feel it should look like in order to fix this problem. It's not just like a direct put down of the people who are creating it. So that is
right. It's not like we're going after like the people by name and like just crapping all over their like intended lives or work, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And I everybody knows I come from an artist background. So like for me, when I see stuff like this, I'm really, really just disheartened to hear. Because I was brought up being told that everybody is at a certain level. Everybody's at a different level in their stage of life.
I mean, that's just a thing in like society too, right? Like just what you're born into and stuff like that. Like your social status or economic status or whatever too as well. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter like what it is. It could be art. It could be finance, your financial status or whatever. Everybody's at a different stage, and you have to respect that they are still in their their journey. They're still working towards whatever future they have. And so it's fine to critique someone, but critique the work, not the person. And you have to just understand that there is another person behind this. There is a live person, and it's not just like you're bashing the work. There is a person who made that, and you have to understand that it's just not cool to talk about other people like that.
Yeah, I think like on another hand too, it's like people are trying like it's really hard because we come from like a gaming culture, so it's like really hard sometimes even for me to like you see like a game and it's just like really bad or something like that, but like and you're like, what are these devs doing, or like are they even trying? And the thing is, to be honest, like a lot of them are like really trying their hardest and like trying their best out there and probably putting their best foot forward in like this art piece as best as possible when it comes to like say what they can do with there's obviously like work politics and stuff like that that's always going to be like unfortunately like at the forefront and stuff like that. But I mean, they are really trying, like in my opinion, their best to like put their best foot forward and stuff like that. And I think like something good to remember too that's kept me humble when it comes to mostly just making podcasts or streaming on Twitch as well is that at the end of the day, there's always going to be someone smaller than you, and there's always going to be someone like bigger than you, right?
Mhm.
So you can be like, not a lot of the times are you going to be in a situation where you're the top dog. And to be honest, like other podcasts and other people have touched on the subject. No one has actually been like the top streamer on Twitch for more than a year. I think
Mhm.
Twitch released the analytics, and they said like the longest person I think was I'm a Cutie Pie at 16 months. And
Wow.
they said those metrics were measured by subs to viewer to follower ratio, right? So even if you're the top
Mhm.
dog, it's not going to last forever, especially on Twitch, right? And so
Yeah.
I feel like when other streamer, like in my
Other
situation,
people in
other
general, really.
people, I guess, put other people down. It's like there's gonna be someone who's way bigger than you that's gonna probably put you down as well, and like that's gonna feel really
Mhm.
crappy. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
that's kind
Yeah.
of why for me, like I kind of have like a sense of like I don't try to um talk bad about streamers that are below me, and I try not to talk bad about streamers that are above me in a sense when it comes to like numbers or popularity or anything like that, because there's always someone smaller than me, there's always someone bigger than me. Like I have a lot of people that come into my chat that are really really like my stream and like really like watching it, and like, oh man, you're so lucky to have like so many viewers. And sometimes I'm like, I don't think I have that many, but to some people, like I'm a I know, quote unquote big streamer or something, right?
Mhm.
In their eyes. And to other people, I'm just like this small tiny pleb, like just has his little corner in the internet. And it all comes down to like perspective. And so like
Yeah.
I don't really understand when people like, those type of people are, I feel like, are just I mean, probably just big headed, unfortunately,
Yeah.
or like narcissistic or something like that, right?
Yeah. It really it shows. It says a lot about a person when you talk poorly about people who are beneath you, who are lesser skilled than you, or just in a lower stage in life or whatever. It really says a lot about that kind of person, and I think strive to never be that. Like use that
Right.
as an example of what not to be.
Right. So, yeah, we don't really want to call out anyone, but I mean, if you go to, I don't know, live stream fails or, just check out social media, you probably know what we're talking about. And it kind of just is like a bigger picture in that type of sense, too. Unfortunately, that's stuff that, we're going to all have to deal with, like in life and stuff like that. Like, there's always someone that you have to answer to, even if you're like the top dog on
Hmm.
in anything, whether it be like your work or on Twitch or on YouTube, right? Like at the end of the day, Twitch people need to answer to Twitch staff, right? Or like whatever it might be, even if they're the big
Right,
guy,
right.
right? Like they still have like a boss, and so I think that's like something good to remind people on this podcast as well. Yeah, and just don't be jerks. Try not to be jerks, and if you're gonna like critique or something like that, do it in like a positive like way. You know what I mean? I think it's okay to disagree with people or to not like certain things.
Hmm.
Like I've been very outspoken about this, but I really don't like how sometimes you can be a fan of someone, but you don't like one little thing they don't like, and all of a sudden you're deemed as a hater. And I think that kind of sucks too as well, because I've experienced that where I've said, hey, didn't really like how you did this or that, here's my reason why, and you get a lot of backlash for it. But I think if you explain it in like a non douchebaggy way,
Hmm.
then you should be fine. But yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. Anyway, moving on from that, because I don't want to spend too much time on that. I kind of wanted to wrap up the podcast with Pixel Corner, because I feel like we had a really good response to the last time that I had to go AFK for like 5 minutes and let Pixel ramble
Oh
about random
no.
stuff. So yeah, this is the new section of the podcast. Probably not, because we don't have sections on this podcast. This is like Pixel's Corner or whatever. Actually, side note, there's a podcast I listen to, and on the podcast, like the guy who edits their podcast, they give him like 25 seconds to have his own podcast show.
Oh really? That's
Yeah.
that's
And
funny.
it's called like the Teeny Weeny Podcast. So it's like, this is so and so, like podcast episode number 300. Go for it. He has 25 seconds, and it doesn't matter if he's like in the middle of talking about something. They just cut him off. Like, they're like, okay, I'll see you next episode. They just cut him off or whatever. It's pretty funny too, because he's actually made like merch and stuff.
That's
And
hilarious.
stuff like that during his podcast. But anyway, it's kind of like your time, Pixel Corner. What are we talking about today? Because I have no idea anything about this show and stuff like
Oh,
that.
are,
So
are you saying we've got no content?
yeah, I got no content. I've got no content. So go for it. Take it away. I'll be
Well,
asking a lot of questions.
you kind of springing this on me like out of the blue because You
I
can
mean,
tell me
that's
about
half
this
our
one.
podcast is literally just springing topics on each other. So I don't know what you were expecting.
I don't know. Like, are we talking Game of Thrones, or are we like talking? I don't know what else.
I
What else do
mean,
we got going on?
I don't know. Our
Um,
podcast does say maybe talking Game of Thrones bars. If you want to talk about Game of Thrones, let's go. Let's do it.
I mean, like the only other thing that's going on in my life is that I'm just like I'm heading off to Utah and Arizona next week. Yeah, week and a half.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so probably no podcast next week unless you want to do it mobile.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it mobile. There's like no internet out there. Come on, I'm
No,
gonna be
I
like
know, I
walking
know.
canyon country.
Is this like what are you going to be doing out there? It's just like chilling, just hanging out and roaming around
I
basically.
Yeah, so like I wanted to get away from this concrete jungle for a little bit and just visit some like actual nature sites.
Oh,
So it's gonna
understandable.
be a lot of hiking, a lot of just like national monuments, national parks, and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
Are you an
my first
outdoors
stop.
guy?
I do like it, but I don't get out enough. It's
Okay.
like I kind of want to change that and just get out more.
Hmm.
So the first park I'm going to is Zion National Park.
Okay.
Like I don't know if you've ever like been there or
Nope.
seen it. It's like one of the most beautiful parks in the U.S.
Okay.
and it's like just absolutely gorgeous out there.
Okay.
Some crazy hikes, some crazy views. There's one hike I want to do. Okay, so like you're walking up the side of the mountain, and you're actually overlooking this valley out into like the rest of this canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And you're 1,200 feet up off the ground.
Wow. Okay.
And it's like a sheer cliff too. So you get this amazing view of this entire valley, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm hoping I can do that because this thing is gonna be like a 6 hour hike.
Wow. Is this like something you go on a guide with or?
No, it's well traveled enough that you don't need one.
Oh, so there will probably be
Um,
like a lot of people on the trail as well with you.
yes, there's
Okay.
actually another one. It's called Angel's Landing,
Hmm.
and that one I'm not doing because of all the people.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you don't know what Angel's Landing is, it's an incredibly thin path. You're walking along this really thin, like almost like a potato chip rock, like on its side, on its edge,
Okay.
and you're walking along the top. And along the way, you have this chain that you have to hold on to, and
Wow.
that is the
Okay.
only thing that you're holding on to while you're going down this really narrow path. And the
Oof.
most dangerous part about that is not the chain and the path; it's the people,
Oh, okay.
because people just want to just rush past you. They want to get to the edge, get to the end faster
Right.
than you. They want to like get past you because they're walking back to the head of the trail. Like I don't want any part of that because I know I'm
Right.
just gonna like get knocked around.
There's like a trail like that in China that's like really well known, but
Hmm.
it's like on the edge of a cliff or whatever. Like
Oh
it goes
yeah,
around this mountain, but the whole thing's made out of glass,
I don't trust it.
like reinforced glass or whatever. And there's like a really scary video where someone was walking over it and it cracked.
Oh
And it was like, oh man, that just get. I'm really afraid of heights, so I don't think I could
no.
ever do something like skydiving or what you just said. Like that just sounds really crazy. I'm
Yeah.
I'm more of a I don't know. I'm not really a big traveling person. I feel
Mhm.
like I don't know. Like I'm a Vegas type of guy or like somewhere where it's like a new environment but still like
Mhm.
inside. I'm not an outdoors guy anymore. I
Sure.
my which is kind of weird because my dad and stuff is, and I have a lot of fond memories of like going fishing with my dad or going like camping with my dad and stuff like that. But it's not my thing. But that's pretty cool that you're getting out there and stuff. Hopefully, like you get like a lot of cool pictures and stuff like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like
I
a lot
mean,
of cool adventures and stuff. Like meet people or something.
hopefully, yeah. This is like a solo trip for me
Nice.
because so I don't know if you know this about me, but I really love solo trips.
Okay.
I think you can get a certain kind of view and a certain type of experience that you don't get with other people.
Hmm.
I went to Japan solo twice,
Okay.
and it both times it was just an amazing experience. It was like you get to do everything that you want to do. You get to see everything that you want to see at your own pace, and you don't have to worry about anybody else kind of just um, they have dietary needs, or they're tired, or they just want to see
Right.
something
Yeah. You
else.
can go at your own pace
Um,
as fast or as slow as you
and
want to, which makes sense.
And one of the best things that I did was I just sat on a bench, I laid back, and I stared up at the sky for like half an hour,
Yeah,
listening to like
that's what you,
cicadas.
yeah, if that's what you want to do, you can do it. That's yeah,
Yeah.
I get the appeal of it for sure.
Uh-huh. So it's like I'm doing this because I want to like go to these places and have this sort of experience where I am there, and it's just me and the canyon, if that makes sense. It's just like
Okay,
you have this experience where you just kind of want to soak
like
it
you
in
just
and
yeah, you
take
just
in
take it all
everything.
in. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get you. That's cool, man. I mean, hopefully the trip goes well. Hopefully you don't die and like or get
That's
injured
the
or
hope.
something, because that usually happens when you're hiking or
Yeah,
something.
this
So.
is it's Angel's Landing, the one that I mentioned. It's
Mhm.
one of the more dangerous hikes.
Hmm.
I believe that at least 8 or 9 people have died on it since they kept track. Since
Since
the
when have they kept
90s.
track? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like about one a year or so.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm not a bit. I get the appeal. I think for me on vacations, I like to be a bit of A and a bit of B, but I need to. I don't know, man. Maybe I just should start dating again or something, because it's like I really like. So for me, just as a person in general, I find I can do solo stuff, and I'm a lot better at doing solo stuff now, where I wasn't maybe 5 to 6 years ago.
Hmm.
But like I'm like so I really enjoy like just having my me time. But one of the things that I get a lot of pleasure from or enjoyment from is sharing experiences with people.
Mm.
So a lot of it has to be around like food, trying out new food with people, or I get really excited when I get to show a group of friends or a friend like
Hmm.
a new restaurant or some hidden type of gem in my area
Yeah,
or stuff like that. So, but I get the appeal of definitely like both or whatever. But I'm
yeah.
definitely like a guy that like if I go on vacation, I do want to like take somebody with me to like share
Hmm.
these like experiences with and like kind of show people like my point of view and then hopefully like bounce off of their point of view and stuff like that as well. Maybe I should
Yeah.
just get like a girlfriend again.
Easy.
Right? Yeah, easier said than done, I guess. But yeah, man, that's pretty cool. I don't know if you wanted to talk about Game of Thrones at all. I mean, that's really your call. I have if we're going to talk about it, let me know right now, but cuz I'll need to do my little preference about the show as well. So, that's your call if you
Sure.
want to talk about it. All right.
Yeah, we got some time. I think we can do it. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
sure. Just before we start, we are doing Game of Thrones spoilers right now. If for some reason you haven't watched the episode, which I believe comes on Saturday or Sunday,
Sundays.
comes on Sunday. It's the final season.
Yes.
Okay, it's the final season. I'm gonna give you guys like 10 seconds right now. We're gonna be talking about Game of Thrones spoilers right now for probably the next 10 to 15 minutes. Hopefully you guys don't get pissed off that there's spoilers. I had like not gonna say names or anything, but I did have like 2 people message me on various social media platforms and tell me that apparently I didn't warn them that there was gonna be spoilers or something on the last episode when it was very clearly stated everywhere. So in 10 seconds, we are talking about Game of Thrones. It is
Episode 3.
episode 3, the TV show that's on HBO that is based off a book by some old guy named George R.R. Martin.
Some old guy.
We are going to be talking about it. Okay, so with that being said, we're discussing it now. Before we jump into it, though, I will say this: I've never watched the show. I've never watched the show. Only no reason really why. I don't have HBO. I didn't really want to pay for it. Here's my thing: I don't care if you spoil it right now, Pixel. Really don't care. So go for it. Don't hold back. For me, I'm just waiting until the whole show is out so I can watch it. That's my thing. I didn't want to pay like $15 a month to like watch this show and have to keep resubscribing to it on HBO. Plus, for some reason, it didn't seem that appealing to me at the time because I just heard that there was like a lot of like graphic stuff in it, like violence and nudity. I'm not like a huge fan on that. I can appreciate it. Like I get why it's in there. It just wasn't my thing. So the only thing I know about Game of Thrones is from the South Park episode.
I actually don't think I've seen that episode.
Okay, it's basically where like they're role playing Game of Thrones and there's like Game of Thrones actors in it, but then every time they're talking about Game of Thrones, it just ends up going to like some crazy like sexual scene. because it's South Park or whatever. And then I guess like in the background, the theme song of Game of Thrones will just start playing. But then apparently it just goes wiener, 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 wiener like the whole time. Like while it's having that's my whole context for Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
So I can't really add to this conversation, guys. So we're just gonna let Pixel like take it away. So season 8, episode 3, I did hear from my friends it was lit. Like there was like a huge like Helm's Deep battle or something like that.
It's funny you say that because it wasn't lit. Because okay, so
okay. See, I don't even know what that means. So continue.
Okay, so you've seen the episode, so completely pitch black. Like the biggest complaint about it was that it was just so dark you couldn't see anything.
Oh, that's why people on Twitter were complaining about that. People were like, they spent all their money on like this and not lighting or something like that.
Yeah. So like, there's this incredible battle scene in the beginning. Like, I'm actually just stoked. I'm on the edge of my seat, just like,
wow.
And it's in the middle of the night, and there's no sources of light anywhere except for like a few bonfires. And there's one cool moment where like Melisandre, she lights all the swords of the horseback riders.
Mm-hmm.
So she lights all of them, like it just goes down a row, and you see this entire field just like springing into fire, and it looks awesome.
Okay.
And other than that, there was barely any light. So all the battle was like completely pitch black. Like you couldn't see a thing. It was just complete chaos. But you know what? That was like the only complaint. Everything else was just so good. It was just so well done.
Somebody said spent all their budget on CGI dragons and didn't have any money left over for some proper lighting. Someone I follow tweeted out. Like, so was the lighting done like that on purpose? Was it supposed to set like a tone or a vibe?
It's my opinion that everything done in one of these productions is done for a purpose. So if you watch like the actual like production videos where they're like shooting the behind the scenes stuff, you see it's pretty well lit. It's actually like, you know, there's lights everywhere and things like that. Everybody can see things, and all of this darkness was added in post. And I have a feeling they did that because it was supposed to help sell the chaotic nature of it, the complete confusion of the whole scene. And I think that's why they did it. Like it's like a massive horde fighting against another massive horde of people.
Okay.
And you're not supposed to know like who's dying. You're kind of like
until like the very end, it's like, oh snaps, these people died.
Yeah. It's like you're kind of like raising the stakes a little bit. You don't know who's going to die. Is someone going to die? Was that person that got his head chopped off? Was that a character I cared about?
Okay.
So that's part of the reason why they did it, I think. But it was just all in all just an incredible episode. Like we got to see like the Night King, and his untimely demise.
Is he like a major character or something?
He's one of the major bad guys.
Oh, okay, got it. So he died.
And and you know everybody thought that Jon Snow would kill him because he's kind of like the good guy.
Oh, okay.
In
I heard it was like one of the girls that killed him or something, right?
Yeah.
And like people are kind of pissed about that. Like they felt it was very heavy-handed or something.
You know, I don't
get
like why people say that.
Like fan servicey. I don't know. People are saying it's fake fan servicey. They're like, oh, is she gonna kill this other guy 2 episodes from now? Like this other bad guy? Like probably. I don't know.
I see. I have like a rebuttal to that.
Okay, go for it, because I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just hear these things on Twitter.
The thing is, they say it's heavy-handed. I don't really understand that because of all the characters on this show, she is the one who's received the most amount of training in combat out of every single character. She spent years, seasons going through like hell and back, being tortured, broken, taught how to become an assassin.
For
all of these years. And out of every single character, she is the only one that is actually capable of having a chance. So she not only snuck up on the Night King, she got like close. She jumped from like some tree like in pitch black and got closer than anyone else. Like even like Theon Greyjoy, he was another character who was protecting Bran. The Night King was trying to kill Bran, but Theon like decided to charge into the Night King, and all the Night King does is just step aside. He steps aside and just kills him. Like
I heard people were pissed that like she kind of one shot him. I don't know if that's true either.
He did one shot him, yes.
Like she killed him like in one
Yeah.
shot or something. Okay, yes, I heard people
Yeah,
were kind of pissed about that too, but I don't know.
So like the way the battle scene happened was like she jumped towards him, like towards his back. He turned around at the last second and caught her in midair
Oh, okay.
and caught the blade in his hand. So what she did was she dropped the blade into her other hand, like below, because that wasn't like restrained or anything.
And then like
Caught it and stabbed him in the stomach.
Okay.
So there is lore behind that about like why he died in one shot.
Okay.
There's a lot of lore and history behind the dagger itself. There's a lot of like hints being dropped at like various points in the show.
I mean, they're probably going to explain it, right? Like maybe. Like how many more episodes are left of this season?
3.
Wait, it's only 6 episodes?
Yeah, but each episode is like, well, each one starting from 3 is an hour and a half long.
Oh, okay.
So each one of these is a movie in itself.
Jeez, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like crazy how much money is being poured into this show.
Jeez, and they're ending it, huh?
Yeah, it's got to end.
So overall, you liked it? You liked the episode?
I really liked it. It was like one of those things that I was hoping that they would end in a satisfying way, because they set up this entire world, this entire sequence of events, and leading up to this one thing, and everything made sense, which is an incredibly difficult thing to do when you have all of these things and they all have to tie together. Well, they have to tie together like believably, and somehow they did it.
Okay.
And somehow like it was satisfying in all different ways. Like sure, there were some characters that died. Right. I was actually expecting more to die.
I mean, you got 3 more episodes, so
yeah, plenty of time, right?
Yeah.
But it was just really, really satisfying and really well done. Like it was just an emotionally well done piece of cinema. Like it was just really great.
Huh. Okay. I mean, I'm waiting until the whole thing's out so I can watch it, to be honest. So we'll see. I mean, I'll probably watch it soon. But All right. Well, 3 more episodes, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why this show is such a cultural phenomenon. Like you see there's like reaction videos of these scenes now. You look on Twitter and YouTube.
Right.
There are reaction videos of that final battle scene and that final Night King death scene.
Okay.
It's crazy. Cool. Like it's amazing how much of a cultural phenomenon it is.
Right. Huh. I don't know. I feel like I missed out on something. I don't know. It just never was something that I was keen to do. But yeah, I probably will watch it for sure. I mean, anything else you wanted to add?
Give it a shot. It's not all sex and violence.
I know.
Actually, that's actually a lie.
I just don't like watching. For me, I don't like having to wait for like the next episode, right? That's just not how I work. So I'd rather just wait until it's all out. And so I'll give it a shot. And I have nothing really against it. It's just that like I think for whoever explained it to me like really poorly at the time. It's kind of like, did you watch Black Mirror?
No, but I've heard of it.
Okay, I think you would like Black Mirror, but it's kind of like that other Netflix show that you recommended to me, the animation one.
Oh yeah. Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, it's like that. It's kind of like set in this future where like every episode is like really different, and I think you would like it. But the show is explained horribly to me, and the first episode is pretty like weird, like pretty shocking, and so it's like, oh wow, and then like you kind of like that doesn't. But the thing is like that doesn't set the tone for the thing. So like every episode is like 45 minutes long, and it could be like considered like their own movie and stuff like that. So it's like just because something happens in episode 1, there's not like continuity with like episode 2. It's like a completely different like show, completely different actors and stuff like that. And I feel like it just wasn't explained to me very well. So I feel like that's how Game of Thrones was probably explained to me. It was probably explained to me like really, really poorly. But like I said, I'm waiting until everything comes out. So I got 3 more episodes, and then I'll probably get HBO, and then I'll be able to like watch it all in one go, or something like that, you know?
Yeah. If I could describe Game of Thrones in like a couple sentences, it's a story that takes normal conventions and turns them on their heads. It's something that really toys with like your emotions and how you expect a story to play out.
Okay.
And I think that's why people just keep tuning in. There's even like any scenes with like sex and violence. They are supposed to be shocking. They're supposed to be
right.
These moments are supposed to be fleeting. Because
I heard it's like a more grittier, life. Like cooler version of Lord of the Rings, because like Lord of the Rings is kind of like very happy, not happy, but like you know what I mean. Like
it's very classical fantasy.
Like, yeah, it's like more family friendly and like I don't know, like has that like happy ending fantasy type of thing. Whereas like I guess Game of Thrones would be like a more realistic portrayal or grittier portrayal of like that type of same lore in this sense. So I can definitely see the appeal of it and why people like it. You know.
Yeah, they have deep characters in Game of Thrones. All characters seem to have like an arc, and
it's tied up pretty well.
They're multifaceted. Like there is no clear good and bad guy, which is kind of interesting to me. Well, there is clear bad guys, but good guys are kind of like anti-heroes, and so it makes it a little bit interesting.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'll definitely check it out or whatever. Anything that you want to add to that?
No, I think that's it.
All right. I think with that, I think we're done. Unless there's any other topics that you can think of that you want to kind of go over for tonight.
Can't think of one. I think we covered quite a bit.
Yeah, we covered a lot actually. These episodes are going longer and longer. I feel like sometimes.
I know, right?
So with that being said,
episode.
Yeah. So with that being said, you're gonna be gone next week or week and a half.
Week and a half. So I'm gonna be gone starting on the 11th.
Okay, so we still technically have time for like one more episode, I guess. So we shouldn't. I guess. Wait. Yeah. So we'll have time. Guys, we'll probably have like one more episode, and then we'll be probably taking a week break while Pixel goes on traveling or whatever. Unless like I get a step-in guest. Maybe I'll do that. I'll bring on somebody to replace Pixel or whatever, so we can keep it going, like just to test out the waters or something. Because
how can you replace me?
I know, but you know, one of the things that I do think that I want to try out with this podcast eventually is maybe bringing on other people, like special guests or whatever, just to kind of like shoot the crap or whatever. You know what I mean? Just like talk about whatever we're going through, kind of experiment. You know what I mean? Maybe like a special guest episodes or something like that. So we'll see.
Cool.
But yeah, we'll make that announcement when the time comes. That the most likely will be a week break, which is perfectly fine. But before we go, as always, just kind of wanted to remind you guys that you can check us out. You can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and of course my Twitch channel at Ryan Kubo, RyanKubo. As always, if you guys want to check out VODs for this podcast as well, you can go to SHIGEOS Twitch TV on YouTube as well. And then Pixel, where can they find you?
Well, you can always find me on twitch.tv/pixel_pusher101.
Cool. Yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out with us as always for another episode of No Content. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode as always. And yeah, we'll catch you guys most likely next week, I think, if we have time. I don't know. Take it easy, guys.
All right. See you guys.